up, Domino fans? I'm Stick Trick Domino Dude, and today I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how I'm going to make my self-portrait out of 10,000 dominoes. So here we are back in Orion Sirius Underground Studios, and I'm actually really excited for this project because recently I almost had the opportunity to build a big portrait out of dominoes for a client, but that never panned out. But I found that I was actually really excited to do a portrait. So now that I have the dominoes for it, I'm going to do my own. I mean, after all, every artist that you know about has done a self-portrait, so I figured that since I'm a domino artist, it's time that I do a self-portrait as well. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so here is the official field image for the project. Now, it actually took quite a while to make, as you can imagine, since it's made out of 10,000 dominoes and you want every detail to be very specific. But I actually went through two different designs. One of them was a little bit more fixed to take out all of the really dark colors in the face and to see how that looked. But with all that white in there, it was hard to get the eyes and the mouth and the nose in there looking, well, natural. It looked more cartoonish. So instead, I decided to go with the one that was more like how the field generated itself, but just adjusted a little bit. So this was generated from a real image of me. But actually, the shirt is not that color. It was a different kind of powder blue color, and I don't have enough of that color, so instead I decided to change it all to black and gray. So in the original photo, I actually did have some dominoes set up at the bottom, but not in a straight line. It was the picture I took at Jimmy Fallon's desk. I felt that it was a little bit hard to tell that they were dominoes, so I decided to go with a more fixed version of the dominoes. So they're all set up in a line here. Some of them are toppling, some of them are not. I specifically chose to make each row 100 dominoes long. And that was the only thing I really care about in terms of proportion. Because my field templates are 50 dominoes long, and so I can easily just do it twice in there and it'll look really straight all around. It's that kind of subtle detail that I think really helps in making a good field. Because if I were to make it 101 dominoes, then it'd just be a pain to keep on setting up that one domino at the end. So I specifically chose to make it 100 dominoes long. So there are a total of 103 rows, and if you're doing the math, 100 times 103 is 10,300. So that's how big this field is going to be without the field starter, because we don't count the field starters for some reason. Another thing that I did to make the building go a little bit faster was actually generate the field protocol in blocks of 10. And that's an option that Steve Price's planner has. And so recently I've been trying it out that way as opposed to just having the colors all laid out for you. While it is a little bit longer, I find that it's a little bit easier for me to focus on one block at a time. You might think I'm putting a little bit too much effort into making it a little bit faster, but hey, I think the best domino builders find the best subtle ways to make building go faster, and that's what makes them really good. So the field plan is actually so big that in order for me to see everything clearly, it takes two different sheets of paper for it to be printed out in total. So I'm going to cut the blank spaces of white that go in between the two sheets, and then I'm going to tape them together just to make things a little bit easier during the building. Line them up on the floor there. Put some tape on that. And there we go. So right now I'm taking some time to just focus on laying out the white that's around my head because it's easier if you just focus on one color. So on the left side of the plan, I've laid out 4 rows of 3 blocks of 10, also known as 30 dominoes. And now on the right side, I'm going to lay out 4 rows of 40 dominoes. All I gotta do is just take note of that one black domino that I gotta make sure I put in one of the last blocks. So I decided that I would film a time lapse for the building, but to save on footage, I'm only going to film a time lapse while I'm building the field, not when I'm laying out the dominoes. So that's going to start right now. Now, of course, I want to make this time lapse look a little bit interesting and not just have it be at the same angle. So every 10 rows that I build, I'm going to switch the camera angle into something different. Some of it will be an overhead shot, some will be a little bit more close on the dominoes themselves that I'm putting in. But yeah, I'm just going to figure it out as I go, and hopefully it's going to be a fantastic time lapse. So this is what the face looks like, and there's actually 2 different shades of tan in the face, but they're a little bit off because I intended for these ones to be a little bit darker and for the majority of it to be a little bit lighter in color. But in actuality, when you look at the colors here, this one, which is closer to the brown, is actually the lighter color. So I've decided that I'm going to make an executive decision and switch the 2 colors in the field plan. So wherever I see a lighter color, I'm going to put in a darker color, and wherever I see a darker color, I'm going to put in a lighter color. I find it easy to focus on all the complicated stuff at once, so I decided to lay out all of the pieces for the face, and now I'm going to get started working on the rest of the background for these next 10 rows. Just about 500 white dominoes, but that'll be quick and easy. Spot the domino that is out of place? Me neither. So the reason that there's a gap here is because I want to just grab only the dominoes that I need for each specific template, and then I won't be wasting any time putting dominoes back in. So this is for the first template, this is for the second template. Alright, well that's the face and that's the neck, and so what I've mostly just got to do right now is the rest of the shirt, a little bit of the arm, and then the table with the dominoes on it. It's looking pretty good, and now it is halfway finished, so another 5,000 to go. Let's do this. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an insight as to how my brain works when I'm laying out the dominoes. Since right now I'm really just working with 2 colors, dark gray and black, I like to have a system which is just me saying the number of dominoes I need to use out loud, but not even mentioning the colors, so then it's easier to remember since there's only 2. So for example, with this next one, I would say 1 black, 6, 1, 2. Since I just got to really keep in mind what the first color of the block is, and that's the only one I have to remember because logically the next one that comes after it in the number sequence is dark gray. So yeah, it's 1, 6, 1, 2. Let's get that together. Got all that in there. 1, 2. Yep. While most of this field plan is still just dark gray and black, there's a bit of tan and brown at each end for bits of the arms, so I decided to save a little time and space by gathering up all the other dominoes that I need for the rest of the arms, and then I'll be good and can move all those boxes away. Alright, it is day 5, and I've only got about 2,000 dominoes left in the field, but then I'm going to take tons and tons of pictures, and of course there's the field starter to build, and I'm going to build another line leading up to it, because of course a little bit more duration in the fall down goes a long way. So yeah, let's do this, day 5. Alright, before I finish the field, I decided that I was going to just quickly prepare the field starters that are going to be used in the field. And while I don't have really awesome plexiglass ones, all I had to do was take 2 caplas and tape them together like this, and they can knock down 5 dominoes at once. There's a dog. But see, so the field is actually... come on. So the field is actually 103 rows. And if you're doing the math, that means that... Alright, so the field is actually 103 rows long, and if you're doing the math, that means that if I end up using field starters for every single row, there's going to be a few parts of the field starters that are hanging off to the edges, which looks kind of dumb. So I'm going to make my own little homemade field starters with some ivory dominoes. I'm just going to put them in the yardsticks right here. Get them all lined up correctly. Use a bit of tape. Do the other side now. Now you might be saying, hey, wait a minute, Stick Trick Domino Dude. The extra rows are only 3, so why'd you use 4 dominoes for the field starter? Well, gotta keep in mind that I am putting spaces in between all the rows, so really it's longer than 3 domino widths. So just to make sure that it all gets knocked down, I'm putting 4 on here. Alright, let's build the last 10 rows. Alright, it is the final day. The field is finished, and I got about 3 hours before I got people coming over to watch it, and then it'll be topple time! Alright, that is it. It's been toppled and it worked perfectly. Not a single domino was out of place. It was incredibly smooth and it looks even better now that it's toppled. Check that out. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe because I make new videos whenever I can. I'm hoping to get a weekly schedule started pretty soon. And with that, I will leave you with 2 cute dogs.